What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Fighting's Final here on the Edge of Philly Sports with your boy, Matty B, today on the call on this Memorial Day weekend. And today, the Phillies fall. They fall hard, 5-2, losers to the Colorado Rockies, thus ending this craziness of, 11 consecutive series without a loss. It is their third series loss of the season. And Ranger Suarez really did not have it going on at all today. Really a rocky first and second inning. He kind of locked it down at that point. But then the Philly offense, which, to be honest with you, with the exception of last night's ninth inning, has not been good in this series. And they struggled all day long to try to get anything going offensively against this team. And in result, the Phillies lose 5-2 and lose the series. Something that we don't normally say around these parts anymore, right? Phillies losing series. But today that was the case as the Phillies lose 5-2. What do they say in baseball? The two worst things that a pitcher can give up in a game are walks and home runs. And Ranger Suarez gave up 4 walks today. He just was not sharp early. But to take a positive from this start, we're at a couple positives, actually. Ranger was due for one of these, I guess, with the way his season has started. So I'll kind of accept it and deal with it. But also the fact that he was able to lock it down and actually last 6 innings and not have to have Rob Thompson go into that bullpen in the third inning, which a lot of us thought that was the way this game was trending. You got to pull the positives from that, and that's the positive I'm pulling from that, is that Ranger was able to kind of lock it down and not necessarily do any, obviously not cause any more damage. The offense, though, on the other hand, just could not pick Ranger up at all, as the Phillies really struggled to get anything going offensively on this Sunday afternoon. And the Phillies fall today 5-2, losing the series to the Rockies. Before I get any further, let's get into some of the great sponsors here on the program. Don't forget, we are sponsored by Sherry's Tickets, Cherry Injury Law, Dolan's, the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar, and I'm forgetting Philly Sports Trips. So great sponsors here on the program. Let's jump into some of the comments first. Star Wars 99 says not hitting. That was bad. Yeah, and I mentioned Star Wars at the top of the program, which was about 2 minutes ago, that aside from the ninth inning last night, the hitting was not good at all in this series. It was not good at all. It was very pedestrian. It was kind of reminiscent of some of the struggles that the Phillies have had in years past when it came to generating offense. I mean, when they got it going, they were able to kind of move people along, but they just weren't able to get offense consistently all weekend against the Colorado Rockies. And is that something that we just kind of brush off and say, well, they couldn't continue to play at the pace they were playing, or is this something that we need to kind of maybe look into? We'll get into the box score here in a moment, but no, the hitting was not good. It wasn't good all weekend, with the exception of the ninth inning yesterday. Hey, Dave. Dave was lucky the ball didn't take his head off. Wow. Yeah, I mean, so obviously it was evident early on that Ranger did not have command. 4 walks. Again, you're not going to stick around long in games at the major league level, or any level, if you can't keep the ball, if you can't keep runners off base by the bases on balls. Phillies heading into this game as a pitching staff had an amazing. They've been really doing well when it comes to giving up walks. They've given up, coming into this game, 153 walks for less than 3 walks a game season average. Today, Ranger walked 4. So again, it's not hard to do the math here. You just cannot give 4 walks, especially in the first 2 innings, and then expect to come out of there unscathed. But he did lock it down, 9 strikeouts today, and he went 6 or 6+. That's a positive that you can pull from this game, because it saved the bullpen. It did. Rangers struggled, but he corrected himself. The offense struggled and did not correct itself. The offense, again, has struggled all weekend and really has had a hard time correcting itself. So you kind of got to look at this game in layers. JT was not good. No, he wasn't that good today. The 14-game hitting streak is now bye-bye, as pitchers seem to be kind of picking up a trend on old JT. They mentioned it in the broadcast, right? Nothing but a steady diet of breaking balls that JT Realmuto is having a problem dealing with. And, the 14-game hitting streak has ended for JT Realmuto. Respect from I appreciate that, man. I know why do I deserve this this shout out on this Memorial Day? Huh? Respect to Matty B for what? What are you giving me respect for, man? Third inning, sixth inning was lights out. Third inning, sixth inning was light out. Yeah, well, again, it was what it was. Stand your ground over Big Phil. Come on, man. Are you talking about that little slap fight I had on Friday with Phil? Yeah, come on. You got to come at me harder with some of this stuff. You know, it's funny, and I don't want to get into that because this is a post-game show. I don't want to deviate from that. But, you know, a lot of times in my world, I have to deal with a lot of people asking me why I'm a certain way. Well, you know, that door flips both sides, too. Why are people anyway, right? Why does Phil take a stance of such pro stuff where, you know, I don't see the evidence of that, and yet I take a stance of negative or anti or, you know, questioning when there's evidence abound about why I do that. So, you know, maybe we should look in the mirror the other way. But no, that was fun on Friday. I enjoyed that. He did get a hit. Who got a hit? JT got a hit? I don't think he did. Dodgers got sweep. Yep. All right, let's move now into you know what? You guys reminded me of something because I am going to deviate from the standard post-game show format. And I want to talk a little bit about Friday night. Yeah, I want to talk about the Bryce Harper ejection because I have not had my turn at bat on that. I have not got my opportunity to kind of give you my 2 cents on that. So JT got a hit. What did he get, a hit late? I must have missed it because heading into that, I thought he didn't get a hit. Oh, yeah, he did get a hit. You're right. Okay, so the 14-game hitting streak is now 15 games. Good job for JT, salvaging a hitting streak out of today. Good call, Star Wars. I must have missed that. So a lot of things have come out about the Bryce Harper ejection from Friday night. And this is my last little soapbox moment, and I actually have to do a post-game show. And yes, I am an umpire, and I will not deny that. I proudly admit to the world that I am an umpire. I'm also a hockey referee. I will proudly admit those two things. And there's been a lot of backlash about why Bryce Harper might have gotten thrown out, that he didn't deserve it. First of all, there's nobody on the face of this earth, or I should say in any sort of level of sports, that does not deserve to be thrown out of a game if they are thrown out of a game. This is not the WWE. This is not the WWF. We don't have, you know, bad referees that are, you know, are flipping the script. He was thrown out of that game because for whatever reason, he deserved it. All right. That's the bottom line. You can sit here and give me all the namby-pamby whininess about, well, all he was doing was discussing, or apparently discussing, because we don't know what he was doing. We couldn't hear the conversation. You can give me that all day long. You can give me that, well, he wasn't upset. I don't give a rat's ass if Bryce Harper was upset or if he wasn't upset. He struck out and he bitched because of strike two in that count. Now, obviously, with strike two being the way it was, it made him be a little bit more, I guess, protective at the plate, and he kind of fished on strike three. So instead of accepting his fate and striking out like a man would, no, he's going to throw down his helmet and then he's going to bitch and moan to the umpire. This is what I don't get, Philadelphia. I don't get it in any least bit. Accept the situation. Bryce Harper argued balls and strikes. You can't argue balls and strikes, and he got thrown out. I don't care if he wasn't dancing around or jumping around or screaming like a lunatic. He was having a conversation with the umpire about balls and strikes. And again, I don't know if that's 100% of what he did, of what he was talking about, but I assume he was talking about the balls and strikes of that particular at bat, and I assume he was questioning in some sort of way what the issue was with the strike zone, if there was any. And again, I don't care if he wasn't screaming or ranting or raving or being a madman. First of all, he threw his helmet down like a little baby, like a little $130 or $330 million baby. All right, he threw his helmet down like a baby. All right, like Bryce Harper and his I'm all for Philly, I'm all for the team. That wasn't on display on Friday night. That little tantrum he threw he was all about himself. He was all about how it made him look. He got thrown out of the game. So that meant for the next 8 innings, he could not affect the game in a positive way for his ball club. So who really is to blame here? Is it the umpire or is it Bryce Harper? Bryce Harper took himself out of a game because of a play that occurred in the first inning. I can justify it more if this was in the 8th or the 9th. In the 9th inning, I can justify that a lot more. You can rant and rave and complain all you want in the 9th inning because it's the end of the game, and I get that. But in the first inning, like a little child, he threw his helmet down and had a tantrum. And he got what he deserved, thrown out of the game. I don't care if he wasn't animated. I don't care if he wasn't doing a little dance up there. I don't care about any of that. The rule is very simply put, you can't argue balls and strikes. And a lot of umpires entertain it. They do. And they're wrong too. I don't entertain it. You know, somebody can ask me about where that pitch was. I'll tell them. But that's it. When you can persist, and when I mean persist, when you continue to talk about it, then we're going to have a problem. All right? And especially if you slam your equipment down prior to having a civilized adult conversation with me about the strike zone, I'm going to be a little bit on edge too. So for all you Bryce Harper fans, and he's an amazing talent, I'll give you that. He's an amazing talent, a gift from the baseball gods. But on Friday night, he acted like a little baby. And he got his just desserts by being put into the dressing room. The umpires are not perfect. I'll give you that 100%. I'm not saying that it was, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was deserving or not deserving. I didn't listen to the conversation. All I can tell you is I know what I would have done if put in that situation. So I went back and I looked. And I found this. And this is Brian Walsh's report card from Friday night in that game against the Phillies and the Rockies, right? Now, 86% called strike accuracy. That's a little bit low. What is the season average down there? What is that, 88%? Actually, that's not that bad. I can live with 88%, right? 6 of 44 called strikes were true balls. So he basically missed bad on 6 calls, right? They don't. I don't know if they segregate what 6 of those 6 are. I don't know if Harper was one of those 6. I can tell you by the stupid box that it wasn't. It was right there on the borderline. And again, it was strike 2 of a count. This is a decent report card for a Major League Baseball umpire. It's not 100% across the board. I get you. Overall consistency is 88%. I understand that it's not 100%, but I can live with this report card, and I guarantee you the head of the umpires can live with this report card too. So, one final message about the Bryce Harper ejection. Are there times in games where umpires lose their cool? Absolutely. Players lose their cool, umpires lose their cool, managers, they all lose their cool. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they don't. But I am going to tell you that out of all 3 of those groups of individuals that I mentioned, players, umpires, and coaches, there's only one group that's never going to get thrown out of the game, and that's the umpires. So you would think you would know that going into a discussion. Point 2, not in any way, shape, or form was Bryce Harper's little rant, regardless of whatever it was ever going to change the call. Do you think Brian Walsh would have been like, you know what, Bryce? Yeah, I think you're right, man. Strike 2 in that count was wrong. Let's go back and replay the at-bat from ball 2, and we'll go from there. It's not going to be changed. So take it on the chin like a man. Take it on the chin for your team. Go back, play the rest of the game so you can effectively affect the game in a positive way for your team. Or do what you did. Got tossed for the 21st time in his career or something like that, and sat in the clubhouse and then bitched and moaned about professionals. Who's a professional here? Who got thrown out of the game, Bryce Harper? Stop slinging comments about people being professional when you're the one that got put in the damn clubhouse, because that's a little hypocritical if you ask me. So there's my rant about the Bryce Harper ejection. I had to get that out because I had to sit there and listen to that crap for 2 days. So here we go. We lost on Stubbs' birthday. Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? Al says he disagrees. Yeah. Well, of course, because Al, yeah, of course you're going to disagree. You and the rest of the homers out there are going to disagree, Al, because Bryce Harper can do no wrong, right? You've never been in the heat of that battle, man. You've never experienced that. You've never been down in the pit like that, man. It's tense down there. I'll give you that. And there's a lot of things going on. I understand that. And I'm telling you, Brian Walsh gave him some rope. He did. Because if it would have been me, I would have thrown his ass out as soon as he slammed the helmet down. Because that's an ejectable offense too, by the way. You know that, right? It's an ejectable and a finable offense, throwing equipment. I would have tossed his ass out the minute he tossed his helmet down like a little baby. But he didn't. He let him hang around. That was his warning, essentially. And what Bryce Harper did with that warning was he Bryce Harpered it. He took it to his own personal level and got ejected. What did Bryce Harper get thrown out? Why? Wait, did Bryce Harper get thrown out? No, I'm talking about Friday night, man. I'm going back in time. I haven't had a chance. Well, you just defending Bryce Harper out of the blue, just saying because he thought he got thrown out today? Good God, man. Are we taking this thing to a different level too? I took a nap and came back to see Ranger. Came back and pitched better. Yeah, he did. We're not going to win every series, but if we win 75% of the remaining series, we'll be okay. Bryce is a hothead. Okay, he is a hothead, but does that serve the Phillies well, or does that serve Bryce Harper well? Who does that serve well? Him being a hothead. Again, I can understand maybe. This was the 8th or the 9th inning. I can understand that. Absolutely. If they were messing with him all game, it's been a wonky strike zone all game. It's still frustrating as it builds up, and your offense is stuck in neutral, and then you kind of blow a gasket in the 8th or 9th inning when it cannot really affect you anymore. I can accept that, and I should be able to accept that as a player or manager from my players or my manager, but not in the first inning. Not in the beginning of the game. And no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about the selfishness of Bryce Harper getting thrown out in the first inning. He had the whole game left to play. We're not even going to mention the fact that he was selfish about getting tossed out in the first inning, that he couldn't let it go and walk away in the first friggin' inning. But no, he ended up getting thrown out of the game. We're going to laud Bryce Harper for being some sort of magical hero and role model to kids and watch him have a little tantrum at the plate by throwing down his helmet and then having a discussion, whatever that discussion was, with the umpire. God, man, I sometimes you guys kill me, man. Kill me. But Ranger did kind of repair himself throughout the game. He says, no, I'm messing with you. I know you are. All right, Sarver says at least it was an over 500 week. Sarvers, it was. And, is there some concerns, though? Are there some concerns coming out of this series? Again, I mentioned the offense has been pretty much stuck in neutral the entire series with the exception of last night's 9th inning. Offensively, they couldn't get anything going at all this weekend against one of the worst, if not the worst team in the National League. Is there some concerns as the scene will now shift to San Francisco, a place where the Phillies have never played well, even before it was, what is it now, Oracle? Is it Oracle Park? And before Candlestick. Yeah, so scene's going to shift there tomorrow. But let's get to the box score. Oh, before we get to the box score on this game, let's remind everybody here that our numero uno sponsor here is the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar at 5400 Fern Boulevard in Drexel Hill, PA, at the Holiday Inn and Suites at the Drexel Brook. That's right, the Drexel Brook Event Center. Great for breakfast, brunch, happy hour, dinner, and drinks. Give them a holler at 484-461-9823 or stop on by, because, of course, we are a very common visitor to the Drexel Brook Event Center and the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar at the Holiday Inn and Suites on 5400 Fern Boulevard in Drexel Hill, PA. See how I did it like backwards too? I can do it frontwards and I can do it backwards. I've figured it out. So make sure you're checking out the good folks over at the Streetlight. But all right, let's move on into the box score right now, because this time for the day, the Phillies would finish with 2 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. The Rockies with 5 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Offensively for the Phillies, very pedestrian, and that's what happens when you only have 5 hits. Kyle Schwarber was 0 for 3, but he did get on base once with a walk. JT was 1 for 4, as Star Wars pointed out. I thought he did not get a hit there late in the game, but apparently he did. But he also struck out 3 times. Bryce Harper, 0 for 4. I guess in a performance like that, it doesn't really matter if you're in the game or not, right? Because he might as well not have been in the game. But 0 for 4 today for Harper. 1 for 4. Alec Boehm had a rough day. He did have the RBI, but it was an adventure for him out there in the field today. But Alec Boehm 1 for 4. Bryce Stott 0 for 4. Nick Castellanos 0 for 4. Brandon Marsh was the offensive highlight, 2 for 2 today with a run scored. Armando Sosa 0 for 3. Rojas 1 for 2 with an RBI. And Cody Clemens came on and pinch hit to no avail. For the Colorado, I keep on wanting to say Avalanche, but for the Colorado Rockies, Tovar was 1 for 3. Brandon Rogers 2 for 4. McMahon was 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a homer. Diaz 0 for 4. Chris Bryant 1 for 4. and Doyle, and then blah, 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 moving on down the line because I don't want to talk about them anyway. Offensively, for the Phillies, they did ground into one double play. They left 4 on base, and they were 2 for 3 with runners in scoring position. That's very, very positive, and that's very good, except the fact that we only had very pedestrian runners in scoring position. We didn't have much offense going on. They did get Brandon Marsh was caught stealing in this game. Beautiful throw. I don't know if you guys saw that play. Definitely a major league throw down to gun Brandon Marsh down at second. And it was funny. The throw was by Diaz. The ball beat him, and actually, if he was out by a mile. And it was an interesting little thing going on in the Philly dugout, right? Rob Thompson wants them to take a look at it, their own people. They take a look at it, and then the guy on the phone goes over to Rob, does the whole headphone thing. That's the universal signal to kind of challenge it. And then he says, no. You can see him kind of like animated, but no, I didn't mean to do that. Rob Thompson already signaled to the umpires with the headphones. So they wanted to challenge it, but then a split second later, they didn't want to challenge it. But unfortunately, by rule, that's right, because we follow the friggin' rules in Major League Baseball, they had to look at it because the Phillies initially accepted the challenge. Of course, it wasn't even close. Brandon Marsh was dead out, and the Phillies lost their challenge. Very poor bench management today by the Phillies. Obviously, it probably didn't really matter, but who knows if it could have. Phillies got to do better than that. They're best team in baseball. They got to play like it from all aspects of the game, to include not getting your star player thrown out of the game in the first inning. For the Rockies, they did not hit any double plays tonight. They left 5 on base. They were 1 for 4 runners in scoring position, and they did have 1 stolen base today. Doyle with the steal. Ranger Suarez went 6. Gave up 3 hits, 5 runs, 4 runs. They were earned. 5 runs, 4 earned, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 1 homer. Kirkering, Dominguez, and yes, Ranger Suarez really they did lock it down. I mean, listen, Ranger had a horrible first and second inning. Horrible. He is now 9-1 against the loss, ending his unbeaten streak there. But again, to Ranger's credit, he locked himself down. He got himself back on track, but just got no support from the offense today. For the Rockies, Quantrill was 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Caracetti, Mears, and Kinley would come on. Kinley gets the save. Quantrill with the win. He's now 4-3. Scoring summary, again, the Rockies got it going in the first. McMahon would homer a 2-run shot, scoring Brendan Rodgers to make it 2-0. Then the real damage came in that second inning. Goodman would double to right, scoring Doyle and Montero, or scoring Doyle. Then was Brandon Rodgers would ground into the fielder's choice to third, but then Alec Boehm kind of double clutched, hitched, and then threw the ball over Bryce Harper's head out there into right field, and that enabled Montero and Tovar to score. They did get Goodman out at third on the play, but the damage was done in those first 2 innings, 5-0. Phillies would kind of try to get themselves back into this. Bohm would knock in Schwarber in the 4th, making it 5-1, and Rojas would knock in Marsh in the 5th to make it 5-2. But the Phillies could not get anything else sustainable going with offense, and that is why they are 5-2 losers today. And now fall on the season to 38-16, 18-5 now for the month of May. Again, if you would have told me that they were going to be 18-5 through the most of May, I would have signed up in a heartbeat. Next up is, of course, the San Francisco Giants here on tomorrow afternoon. So we have not much time to reset. Atlanta is hurting. Hard to tell how long Acuna will be out. Yeah, they're dropping like flies out there, Jeff, aren't they? But you know what? Nobody cares, right? Because nobody cares when we get hurt. So take them one day at a time, Jeff. Let's take our games one day at a time, and let's get back on track. Because I think we might have our own little problems here offensively. I don't know, but we gotta worry about pretty much what's happening with the Phillies. Phillies win today with robo-umps. What is? I don't know if Freddie Burns knows what robo-umps are. Should I educate him? Should I educate Freddie Burns and everybody else out there what a robo-ump is? Or should I let them stay in the dark where they belong? Daughter's softball game has 2-run single and tie game 3-3 and accidentally hits the catcher with a bat. They give her an automatic out. and took the hit and runs away. Should it be a warning? Daughter's softball game girl. Okay. Oh, we going to give me a scenario, Fred? What are you doing? Testing my knowledge? But that's all right, man. So, daughter's softball game girl has a 2-run single to tie the game 3-3. Bang, bang, bang. All right, I'm picturing it, right? And accidentally hits the catcher with a bat. What do you mean accidentally hits her with the bat? Does she hit her in the, not the follow through, but on the backswing? Or does she hit her with the bat as she's exiting the box and kind of throws the bat at the catcher? What do you mean? There's multiple definitions here of being hit with the bat. I need to know because there are two different rules. If she hit the catcher with the not the follow through but the backswing, then yes, that is interference and the batter is out. If she hit or threw the bat as she was trying to drop the bat and threw the bat and hit the catcher, it is not. It is a warning. It is a warning to the team that offending team that the next player that I catch throwing a bat is ejected. That is what the rule is for thrown bats at a catcher or at a player or umpire or whatever the case may be. But for follow-through interference, that's different. That's interference, and that is an out. So I need to know what the scenario is here. But I hope that helped you out to answer your question. All right, so let's head over now and let's talk some Broad Street bottom line, because that's what we're going to do right now as we're streaming our way through this program. Philly Sports Trips, of course, is the sponsor today for the segment of Broad Street Bottom Line. If you want to travel like the pros, if you want to travel with like-minded individuals and support your Philly Sports Trips anywhere they travel to, then look no further than Philly Sports Trips at phillysportstrips.com. They got you covered. Trips to Baltimore, trips to Chicago, trips to Boston. They're going to London in 2 weeks, folks. That's right. We're getting close to London. Can you believe that the London trip is coming up? But they're going there. They got you covered for the Flyers when they're back in action, Sixers when they're in action, and, of course, this fall, and I am sure the graphic is going to drop here soon, when they finalize all the Eagles trips very soon, they're going to be going with the Eagles as they do every year. So make sure you're checking out Philly Sports Trips at phillysportstrips.com now for all your Philadelphia sports traveling ideas. So let's head over to the Broad Street Bottom Line. All right, the Broad Street Bottom Line here today, again, sponsored by Philly Sports Trips. Plain and simple for me, 4 walks is just not cutting it for me. When your team came into this game averaging only 2.8 walks a game through 53 games, you got to do better than 4 walks. Ranger was not good in the first 2 innings. Ranger did not pitch well for the first 2 innings, but Ranger battled his way back from that and hung around in this game. And I think that will have ramifications heading into the San Francisco series because it saved the bullpen. So, resiliency, yes, is probably part of my Broad Street Bottom Line, but you got to be better. You got to be better. You can't give up 4 walks. Walks and home runs are our pitcher's 2 biggest enemies, and Rangers got to do better with that. But the resilience factor showed me a lot about Ranger today. Showed me a lot about his character. Showed me a lot about his ability to respond in those types of down moments, and that's what you want to see. You want to see that. The Phillies had 7 innings to get back in this game after being down 5-0. Ranger provided that chance, even though he also provided the chance to get them down. But he provided a chance for the offense to kind of right themselves. The offense did not. But you got to do better in those early innings. Ranger was not looking sharp early on. It cost this team. But the character he's shown to stick around in this game, to not have the bullpen get burned out, was really, I think, crucial here. And sometimes the wins and losses are not as plain and simple as wins and losses. Sometimes you got to pull some things out of somewhere. So you got to do better, Ranger. But then I give you a lot of credit for the resiliency, and you are definitely maturing in a lot of different ways as a major league pitcher. And I don't think Ranger Suarez is a flash in the pan. I'm not saying he's going to go off and be 15-1 this year, but we're seeing the start of a potentially very, very good pitching career in a pitcher like Ranger Suarez. So be better, but continue to be as resilient as you've been. And there you go. There's my Broad Street Bottom Line on this Sunday afternoon in Memorial Day weekend for the Phillies game. So, okay, let's go up here. Stott is not hitting the ball like he did last year. No, Stott has been part of the problem with this. The offense, winning masks a lot, and Stott has not been playing well. He's not been hitting well at all. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, we still have over 100 games left to go that he has the opportunity to fix that. So, you can say the same about Castellanos. He's not hitting at all. So, yeah, it's Stott's a little bit different. I mean, I think Stott's hitting with more power than he hit with last year. Now, is that a part of the game that he's trying to overcompensate for? I don't know, but no, he's definitely interesting to watch. This lineup sucks. What lineup, man? So, how can you tell me? How the hell can you tell me on one hand, one of the best teams in baseball, and that we deserve respect, and then you hit me with the lineup suck? Yeah, well, the lineup sucked today. Sucked all weekend, really. But come on, man. Let's maintain some. What's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a P, and not perception. Let's mean. Yeah, man. 9-year-olds. What does that mean? 9-year-olds. Yes, 9-year-olds. What does that mean? 9-year-olds. Is it about the softball thing? Which was it, Fred? Was it a follow through, or was it she hit the catcher with the baseball bat coming out of the box when she was trying to put the ball down? She threw the bat at the catcher. Good show as always. Thanks. Well, thanks for what, man? What did I do? Tell me what was the outcome? Cy Young for Ranger. Yes, absolutely. He is batting over 300 for the month. Why did you type it like that? Why does it got to be two separate messages? Why can't you put 300 for the month? But no, I think what Star is saying is that Stott hasn't been he's hitting 300 for the month, but it just seems like in those moments where you really need Stott, he's not there. Or those moments where you're looking to get something started. Maybe not so much when you need him, like with runners in scoring position, but like to get something started. He's not been there. It seems like a lot of his hits are coming with 2 outs. A lot of his hits are coming with nobody on. It just seems like that. It just seems like kind of far in between, right? That's what I think he means. No, Stott to me is not hitting, even though he's batting 300 for the month. I don't see too much. I don't see many line drives coming off of him, right? I saw that a lot last year. He was hitting real solid line drives. He's hitting a lot of like blooper fly ball singles, and he's hitting for power, right? He's got 5 home runs. Is there something there to that? Is he swinging for the fence? Is he trying to elevate the ball more? I mean, I liked him when he was more of a scratch out hitter, but now he's hitting a lot of balls to the outfield. So I don't know, man. I get what he's saying, Al. I do. I get what you're saying too. I was saying thanks for the softball breakdown, and yes, 9-year-olds was age I was giving for clarification. Yeah, but what was it? Was it follow through interference that she hit her with the swing after she swung the ball, or was it she threw the bat at her as she was running out of the box? Which was it? All right, so let's head over now and let's do some round the bases here on. All right, so here we go. Let's do some round the bases on this Sunday afternoon, Memorial Day weekend. Currently ongoing, top of the 9th, it is 3-1. Orioles over the White Sox, it is 5-2. Guardians over the Angels in the top of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th, it is 5-1. Astros over the Athletics. 3-0 Marlins over the Diamondbacks in the top of the 8th. Padres are 3-1 winners, or winning 3-1 over the Yankees in the bottom of the 6th. Tonight, you got the Cubs and the Cardinals on your 7 o'clock ESPN game. Games that have gone final. Here's a real pitcher's duel out there in Motown. 14-11, Tigers over the Blue Jays. 4-1, Reds over Dodgers. 8-1, Braves beat the Pirates, so the Braves did win today. 2-1, Red Sox over the Brewers. 9-5 was the Mariners over the Nationals. 4-1, Rays over the Orioles. It was Mets 4-3 over the Giants, and it was 6-2, Texas over Minnesota. And there you have your Sunday around the Major League Baseball on this fine Memorial Day weekend. So, yep. Now let's head on to my favorite segment because it's Sunday, guys. That's right. It's my favorite day of the week to host this show because it's Sunday. And Stott has one of the best 2-strike hitters in the MLB. I don't know. It seems off for me, man. I don't know. But I understand what Star Wars is saying. I do. Does Matty B throw out Pat Bernard if he comes to the plate on a Speedo? No, he doesn't. First of all, Matty B throws Matty B out of the game. If I'm anywhere near Pat Bernard in any capacity where he would be potentially wearing a Speedo. All right, I would remove myself from the game and let Pat Bernard play whoever he's playing and do whatever they're going to do without me. I'm not going to be involved in officiating that because I do not want the stigma, nor do I want the attachment to that. So I would remove myself, Mike. It'd be the first time in history that an umpire throws himself out of a game because I do not want to be there for what might come from that game. So I hope that answers your question. But it's Sunday, so we'll get to one of my very favorite segments, and that is our weekly trot down to the minor leagues on our Down on the Phillies Farm segment, our weekly minor league report, and when we kind of take a look at the week that was in the Philly minor league system, highlight some players, talk about some teams, talk about where these teams might be, and just have a little fun with that. So let's get it going, and let's head on down to Clearwater to the Florida Coast League Phillies, who had a 3-for-3 week this past week, 8-8 now overall for the season. Your position player of the week was Yamil Flores. The outfielder was 2 games, 5 at-bats, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 homer, and 4 RBIs, really making the most out of 5 at-bats. So good for him. Your pitcher of the week was Adelson Peralta. Appeared in 2 games, no wins, 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, and 6 strikeouts for the 3-3 for the week Florida Coast Phillies, and the 8-8 overall on the season, as their season, of course, began earlier this month. Let's stay in Clearwater, and let's go across the street to the low A Clearwater Thrashers, who are absolutely killing it out of the gate this year. 5-1. I think they were 6-0 last week. They're 5-1 this week. 31-13 now for the season. Your position player of the week, Dakota Kotowski, the outfielder, 5 games, 19 at-bats, 6 hits, 7 runs, 2 homers, and 6 RBIs. Monster week. 19 at-bats in 5 games. That's pretty good. 6 hits, 7 runs, 2 homers, and 6 RBIs for Kotowski. I mean, I can't even say that. Your pitcher of the week is Brandon Beckel. 2 games, 2 wins, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, and 9 strikeouts for the blazing hot Clearwater Thrashers, who are 31-13 to start the season down there in low A. Let's head on up to the Jersey Shore, to your Jersey Shore Blue Claws. 3-3 for the week. They've cooled down a little bit considerably since the season began. 24-20 now on the season. Zach Arnold, the third baseman, is your position player of the week. 5 games, 11 at-bats, 5 hits, 4 runs, no homers, but he had 4 RBIs. And Samuel Aldergredi, the second time he's been on this list this season. 1 game, no wins, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, and he struck out 8 for the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. As again, they got off to a pretty good start, but they've cooled off considerably. 3-3 for the week, 24-20 overall for this season. Let's head up to Reading to Double A. Kendall Simmons, second baseman, 5 games, 5 at bats, 14 hits, 5 runs. That can't be right. 14 hits and 5 at bats. I think it's 4 hits. I apologize, folks. If he had 14 hits and 5 at bats, he's breaking the laws of physics. So I think it's 4 hits, 5 runs, 3 homers, and 6 RBIs. That's correct. I know those numbers are right. I looked those numbers up. That was his week, and most of that came yesterday. But it was not on 5 at bat. It was not on 14 hits. All right. I don't think that's correct. Either I've screwed up the at bats or the hits. One of those is not right. So maybe it's 5 hits. It could be 5 hits. Who knows? I don't know. It could be 5 hits and 14 at bats. Let's go with that one. Let's go with 5 hits, 14 at bats. There you go. As he had himself a really good week, but it was mainly due to what happened yesterday for him. So Kendall Simmons is your position player of the week, and your pitcher of the week is Robinson Pena. 1 game started, he had a win, 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, and 8 strikeouts for the 3-3 for the week. Reading fighting Phils, 19-28 now on the season for them, as they're trying to round back into form. They've gotten off to a slow start, but they've been winning. They've been going 500 lately. So let's hope they can get it going down there in the Eastern League. And then let's finish our trip through the minor leagues up there in Lehigh Valley with those Iron Pigs. And for a second straight week, that's right, you heard it here first, a second straight week, David Dahl returning as your position player of the week. 7 games, 26 at-bats. That is correct. 7 games, 26 at-bats, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 homers, and 4 RBIs for Dahl, as he makes a second week straight appearance as your position player of the week, which of course will pose other questions about David Dahl and his potential ability to assist the major league club when, Trey Turner returns. There's an interesting kind of situation developing here. Of course, Trey Turner was reported with soreness today at the game, so they gave him a day off from his rehabbing. But what is David Dahl and his emergence down there at AAA? Don't forget, everybody seems to not even want to talk about David Dahl. He had himself an outstanding spring. He really did. I was very surprised that he did not make the team out of spring. Obviously, there was an agenda to be followed by Rob Thompson. Certain players were going to make this team. Christian Pache, Johan Rojas, for maybe the youth aspect of it all. I get that. And I don't think Pache has any minor league options left in his career. So maybe that has something to do with it. But David Dahl, how much longer can you ignore, as this guy's been doing nothing but hitting all season, second straight week as your player of the week for the Iron Pigs. He's a left-handed bat as well, so he fits sort of both criteria that the Phillies could potentially need. He is an outfielder with a lot of major league experience. So I'm just wondering how much longer that David Dahl toils in the minor leagues or potentially is traded, because there are problems on this team that need to be addressed, and David Dahl could probably play in the major leagues for about half the teams in the league right now. So what are we doing with David Dahl will be something definitely interesting to keep your eye on. Your pitcher of the week was David Parkinson's 2 games started, 1 win, 12.2 innings, 9 hits, 2 runs, and 9 strikeouts for the 3-4 Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, now 19-28 on the season. And that will complete our trip through the Phillies minor leagues here on the Down on the Phillies Farm segment on Phillies Sports Trips on the Edge of Philly Sports. And the segment was brought to you by the good folks at Dolan's. That's right. Yesterday was their Wiffle Ball Mania Spring Classic. I heard it was a great time. But don't forget, that's not the only time you should go to Dolan's. For Quizzo, music, great times, memorabilia, and giveaways, Dolan's at 24 East Sellers Ave in Ridley Park. You never know who might walk through the front door down there at Dolan's. And let's finish this thing up with some workman's compensation questions. Yeah, no problem. Motor vehicle accident issues, no problem again. Personal injury claims, go talk to him. And criminal law concerns, he's your man. Dave Cherry at 610-565-0300 at www.cherryinjurylaw.com. Give him a holler, and he'll do his very best for you. And if you're looking for those hard-to-find tickets for sports, concerts, or theater events, look no further than Sherry's Ticket Town at www.sherrytickets.com. Save an additional 10% when you enter the promo code EOP10 to go along with great prices and no hidden fees. What you see is what you pay. So head over to Sherry's Tickets today. Save an additional 10% with the promo code EOP10, and what you see is what you pay for great sports, theater, and concert events. 5-2 Phillies fall today in Colorado, lose the series. Now we'll move on to San Francisco to battle them Giants. Here is your Fightin's final lineup for these Giant series. That's right, me and Big Al are going to be tag teaming it tomorrow on Memorial Day. It's a 5 o'clock start time out there in San Francisco, 5 o'clock local here. I guess that would be 2 o'clock local there. So we'll be coming at you tag teaming on Monday. I'm back with you on Tuesday night, Wednesday, early Wednesday morning, and then Mike will finish things up on later Wednesday as the Phillies will wrap up their 3-game set and then return home for a day off on Thursday before facing the Cardinals next weekend. So make sure you're tuned in for the Fightin's final and the Giants series that will start tomorrow. Going for the Phillies in that series opener. I just saw it. I think it was, what was that? Going for the Phillies tomorrow is Taijuan Walker. Sorry about that. Taijuan Walker, and he'll be opposed by Blake Snell. So interesting pitching matchup tomorrow in San Francisco. Very interesting. So make sure you're tuned in for everything here on the Edge of Philly Sports. At least we didn't get swept by the Dodgers. Yep, at least we did not, Jeff. I agree. Which goes to show you could line up and still get swept. Absolutely. I mean, it's not 162 games, man. It's a lot of games. So we got a lot to go, and let's keep this thing moving. We got to put it behind us and get ready tomorrow to deal with the San Francisco Giants in a 3-game set out in San Francisco. Until we talk again, everybody, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe. Again, I'm going to give you the this. I don't want to downplay it, but please make sure that you take a pause and remember why you celebrate. You celebrate because thousands of people have laid their life on that altar of freedom to give you that opportunity. And remember their families today. Remember their families this weekend. That they, I'm sure it's a very bittersweet event to be celebrating something like this, knowing that they were part of that, or their loved ones were part of that ultimate sacrifice. And it is not something that it's a very heavy thing. Trust me, I've been there, and it's never a good thing to have to tell a mom or a dad, or a husband or a wife, or a brother or sister, or a grandmother or grandfather. You get the point that their loved one wasn't coming home, or that the leader failed them and didn't get them home alive. So it's a heavy burden, and it's a heavy sacrifice that they paid. So please keep them in mind on this weekend, and we will talk tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day, and we'll see you.